Before you take another bite of that double-double, there are 10 things about In-N-Out Burger that could completely change how you order, or whether you order at all. Some of this information might save your health, some might save your wallet, and some might just blow your mind about what really goes on behind those crossed palm trees. Let's start with number 10, and this one's about what you're actually putting in your body every time you grab that signature burger. In-N-Out loves to talk about their fresh, never-frozen beef, and yeah, that part is true. But here's what they don't put on the menu board. A standard double-double packs 670 calories, which honestly isn't the scary part. The real kicker is the 1,440 milligrams of sodium packed into that one burger. To put that in perspective, the American Heart Association recommends no more than 2,300 milligrams of sodium per day for most adults, and ideally, they want you around 1,500. You're hitting almost your entire daily limit with one burger before you even touch the fries or shake. And those fries? Another 245 milligrams? That chocolate shake you're thinking about? Add 320 more? Suddenly you're looking at over 2,000 milligrams of sodium in one meal, which means your body is about to retain water like crazy. Your blood pressure is going to spike, and your heart is working overtime just to process one lunch. The fat content tells a similar story. 41 grams of total fat in that double-double, with 18 grams being saturated fat. The daily recommended limit for saturated fat is about 13 grams for a 2,000-calorie diet. You're already 38% over your limit, and again, that's just the burger. Now here's where it gets interesting. In-N-Out actually ranks as one of the healthier fast food burger chains in comparison studies, because they use fresh ingredients and don't add fillers or preservatives. So they're winning the race, but it's a race where everyone's still pretty far from the finish line of actual health. If you're watching your sodium, your best bet is the basic hamburger at 650 milligrams, or better yet, go protein style, where they wrap it in lettuce instead of a bun, dropping you down to just 370 milligrams. That same protein-style hamburger cuts your calories from 390 down to 240, and your carbs from 39 grams to just 11. For anyone doing keto or low-carb, that's actually a solid option that most people don't even know exists, because it's technically part of that not-so-secret menu. Number 9 is going to change how you think about those palm trees you see at every location. And trust me, this is way weirder than you'd expect. Back in 1972, In-N-Out started planting crossed palm trees in front of their stores in a very specific X pattern. You might think it's just a design choice, something to make the place look California cool. Wrong. The crossed palms are actually a reference to the 1963 movie It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, where the characters are searching for buried treasure that's hidden under 4 palm trees arranged in a W shape. The Snyder family, who founded and still own In-N-Out, loved that movie so much they decided to use it as a symbol. The idea was that In-N-Out itself is the treasure, the prize at the end of the hunt. This connects to something deeper in the company culture. The arrow in their logo, which replaced the original no delay sign back in 1954, comes with an internal mantra that all employees learn. The arrow points to pride. Everything about In-N-Out's branding has these hidden meanings and references that the average customer never picks up on. Even the Bible verses printed on their cups and burger wrappers, like John 3:16 on the bottom of soda cups or Revelation 3:20 on milkshake cups, are subtle enough that most people never notice them. The Snyder family has always been openly Christian, and while they don't preach or push religion on customers, they've woven their faith into the packaging as a quiet statement. Some people love this, some people don't care, and some people actively avoid In-N-Out because of it. But here's the thing. They've been doing it since the beginning, and they're not changing for anyone because the company is 100% privately owned by Lindsay Snyder, the founder's granddaughter. She inherited the whole operation, and unlike other chains that go public or franchise out, In-N-Out will never answer to shareholders or outside investors who might tell them to tone down the religious stuff or expand faster, or cut costs. That kind of control is almost unheard of in the fast food industry, and it's exactly why In-N-Out can move at their own pace and stick to their guns on quality, even when it would be more profitable to cut corners. Number 8 is about that secret menu everyone thinks they know about, but most people are ordering all wrong. First off, it's not actually secret anymore. It hasn't been for decades. In-N-Out employees are trained to make all these custom orders, and the company has basically acknowledged their existence without officially adding them to the menu boards. Here's what you need to know. Animal style is the most popular modification, and it's been around since 1961, when customers kept asking for their burger patties cooked in mustard with extra toppings. The full animal style treatment means your patty gets mustard grilled right on the flat top, then loaded with pickles, extra spread, which is basically their version of Thousand Island dressing, and grilled onions. You can get this on any burger, or you can get animal-style fries, which means your fries get topped with melted cheese, spread, and those same grilled onions. Protein style we already covered. That's the lettuce wrap instead of a bun. But then it gets wild. You can order a 3x3, which is 3 beef patties and 3 slices of cheese, or a 4x4 with 4 of each. Technically, you can go even higher. People have ordered 8x8s and even a legendary 20x20. But the company has since capped custom orders at 4x4s for sanity purposes. The Flying Dutchman is 2 beef patties with 2 slices of cheese in between, no bun, no toppings, just meat and cheese, and they'll wrap it in paper for you. If you're really trying to confuse them, order roadkill fries, which is fries topped with a Flying Dutchman that they've smashed up, essentially giving you a messy plate of fries, meat, and cheese. For drinks, ask for a Lemon Up, which is half lemonade and half 7-Up mixed together. Most people don't know you can order your fries well done, which means they leave them in the fryer longer for extra crispiness. Regular In-N-Out fries are pretty controversial because they're not as crispy as other chains. They're more potato-y since they're cut fresh on site from whole Kennebec potatoes. Well Done fixes that issue for people who like crunch. And here's a pro tip that almost nobody knows. You can ask for chopped chilies on anything. They keep yellow chilies behind the counter, and if you ask, they'll chop them up and add them to your burger or fries for free. Same with raw onions instead of grilled, or whole grilled onions instead of chopped, or extra toast on your bun, or mustard instead of spread. The customization is basically endless, but here's the catch. During rush hours, especially at popular locations, going too crazy with modifications is going to slow down your order and annoy the line behind you. Keep it reasonable, and don't be that person ordering a 20x20 at lunchtime. Number 7 is going to make you rethink those expansion plans you keep hearing about. In-N-Out has been teasing expansion for years, slowly creeping eastward from California like they're afraid of leaving home. And honestly, they kind of are. The company refuses to open locations that are more than 300 miles from one of their patty-making facilities. Why? Because they're obsessed with maintaining that fresh, never-frozen promise. Every single beef patty served at In-N-Out is made at one of their distribution centers, then trucked to restaurants within that 300-mile radius, which means the meat never sits long enough to need freezing. This is why In-N-Out spent decades only operating in California, Nevada, and Arizona. It wasn't until 2008 that they finally opened in Utah after building a new distribution center. Texas came in 2011 after they built a facility in Dallas. Oregon in 2015, Colorado in 2020, Idaho in 2023. As of right now, in October 2025, In-N-Out operates around 400 stores across just 8 states: California, Nevada, Arizona, Utah, Texas, Oregon, Colorado, and Idaho. Compare that to McDonald's with over 13,000 locations in the US alone, or even Five Guys with over 1,000 locations. In-N-Out could absolutely grow faster if they franchised or relaxed their distribution rules, but they won't. And this is where it gets interesting for people on the East Coast who keep begging for locations. Tennessee is finally getting its first In-N-Out, with an Antioch location near Nashville opening soon as of late 2025. They've also bought property in Franklin, Tennessee for an Eastern Territory office, which signals they're serious about Southeast expansion. Washington State is planned for 2025, New Mexico by 2027. But here's the reality. If you live anywhere on the East Coast proper, like New York, Florida, the Carolinas, you're probably not getting an In-N-Out anytime soon, maybe not for another decade or more. The company would need to build entirely new distribution infrastructure, find suppliers that meet their standards, and train new teams, all while maintaining the quality that makes them special in the first place. And frankly, they don't seem to be in a rush. This slow growth strategy is exactly why In-N-Out maintains its cult status. The scarcity creates hype. People in California don't appreciate In-N-Out the same way people in Tennessee will when it finally arrives, because Californians can get it whenever they want. The limited availability makes it feel special, almost like a pilgrimage when someone from out of state finally gets to try it. Number 6 is about something that happened back in 2012 that In-N-Out really doesn't want you to remember. An animal rights group called Compassion Over Killing went undercover at Central Valley Meat Company, which was one of In-N-Out's beef suppliers in California. The footage they captured showed some seriously disturbing stuff. Workers using electric prods on cows that were too sick or injured to walk, which are called downer cows. And there were violations of federal humane slaughter laws. When this footage went public, it created a massive problem for In-N-Out's image, because the whole brand is built on quality and doing things the right way. To their credit, In-N-Out responded fast. They immediately cut ties with Central Valley Meat Company and released a statement saying they would never condone inhumane treatment of animals. They also emphasized that they have strict standards for suppliers and do regular audits. That sounds good on paper, but here's where it gets complicated. In-N-Out doesn't actually own or control the farms where their beef comes from. They just buy from suppliers who are supposed to meet their standards. And in the meat industry, oversight is inconsistent at best. Fast forward to 2016, and animal welfare advocates were at it again, this time targeting In-N-Out over antibiotic use in their beef supply. A coalition of groups sent a letter pointing out that routine antibiotic use in livestock is a major contributor to antibiotic-resistant bacteria, which is becoming a serious public health crisis. In-N-Out responded by saying they were exploring ways to reduce antibiotic use and that all their beef comes from USDA-inspected facilities, but they didn't commit to any specific timeline or standards for antibiotic-free beef. Compare this to chains like Chipotle or Shake Shack, which have made bigger commitments to antibiotic-free meat. And In-N-Out starts to look a little less pristine. Now, does this mean In-N-Out is worse than other fast food chains? Not necessarily. Most fast food beef comes from the same industrial farming system with similar issues. But In-N-Out markets itself as higher quality and more ethical, so they get held to a higher standard. If animal welfare is important to you, the honest truth is that fast food in general is probably not where you want to spend your money, regardless of which chain it is. But if you're going to eat fast food anyway, In-N-Out is at least transparent about their suppliers and willing to cut ties when problems come to light, which is more than you can say for some of their competitors who just stay quiet and hope nobody notices. Number 5 is actually a positive one, and it has to do with why your In-N-Out order almost always comes out right and why the employees seem way happier than at other fast food places. In-N-Out pays better than pretty much any other fast food chain in America. As of 2025, starting pay is somewhere between $17 and $20 an hour depending on location, which is significantly higher than minimum wage in most states and higher than competitors like McDonald's or Burger King. But it's not just about the hourly rate. In-N-Out offers paid vacation time, which is almost unheard of in fast food, and they promote from within. Every single store manager started as an entry-level associate and worked their way up through the company. There's even something called In-N-Out University, which was established back in 1984 on the site of the original Baldwin Park location, where they train managers on company standards, operations, and culture. This creates a situation where people actually want to work there long-term, instead of treating it as a throwaway job until something better comes along. According to reviews from 2025, 91% of In-N-Out employees would recommend the job to a friend, and the company has a 4 out of 5 rating on Glassdoor for work-life balance and a 4.5 out of 5 for culture. Compare that to the industry average, and it's night and day. This matters to you as a customer because happy employees who are paid well and trained properly are going to make fewer mistakes with your order. They're going to be more pleasant to deal with, and they're going to maintain better food safety standards. You're way less likely to get a burger that was thrown together by someone who hates their life and doesn't care if your pickles end up on the wrapper instead of the bun. The low turnover rate also means experienced employees who know how to handle the rush and keep things moving. Now, this doesn't mean every location is perfect, or that there aren't bad days or bad managers, because that can happen anywhere. But on average, the labor practices at In-N-Out create a better experience for everyone involved. And from a bigger picture perspective, it's proof that paying fast food workers a living wage doesn't destroy the business model like some corporations claim. In-N-Out is wildly profitable, generating around $2 billion in annual revenue, and they manage to do it while treating employees like human beings. It's almost like when you invest in your workers, they invest back in your business. Number 4 is about the fries, and this is the most controversial topic in the entire In-N-Out universe. People either love them or absolutely hate them, and there's actually a science reason why. In-N-Out fries are made from whole Kennebec potatoes that get delivered to each location. The employees use a manual crank slicer to cut them fresh throughout the day. Then they go straight into the fryer. They're cooked in 100% cholesterol-free cottonseed oil, which is actually a controversial ingredient on its own, because some health experts believe cottonseed oil is pro-inflammatory and not great for your cardiovascular system. But that's a whole separate debate. The point is, In-N-Out fries are about as fresh as you can get in fast food. So why do so many people complain that they're soggy or taste like cardboard? It comes down to starch content and frying technique. Most fast food chains use frozen fries that have been pre-fried once at the factory, which removes excess starch and creates a coating that helps them crisp up when they're fried again at the restaurant. This is called double frying or par frying. In-N-Out doesn't do this because their whole thing is fresh, never frozen. But that means their fries have more moisture and starch, which makes them less crispy and more potato-y tasting. Some people love that because it feels more like a real potato and less like a processed frozen product. Other people hate it because they want that classic fast food fry crunch. Here's the thing. In-N-Out knows this is an issue, and that's exactly why they'll make your fries well done if you ask. Well done means they leave them in the fryer longer, which removes more moisture and gives you that crispy texture everyone's looking for. The problem is, most people don't know to ask for this, so they get regular fries, decide they're garbage, and then spend the rest of their lives telling everyone that In-N-Out fries are overrated. If you're in that camp, try them well done before you write them off completely. Another hack, get them animal style, because the cheese, spread, and grilled onions cover up any texture issues and turn them into basically loaded fries. Or, and here's the most controversial opinion, maybe In-N-Out fries just aren't that good no matter how you order them. And that's okay, because the burgers are the real star of the show anyway. Not everything can be perfect, and honestly, the fact that the fries are the weakest link kind of proves how good everything else is. Number 3 is about the price, and this is where In-N-Out either saves you money or tricks you into thinking you're getting a deal depending on how you look at it. A double-double costs around $4.50. Fries are about $2, and a shake is around $2.50. That puts a full meal at roughly $9, maybe $10 with tax depending on your state. Compare that to Five Guys, where a similar meal can easily hit $18 to $20, or even McDonald's, where a Big Mac meal is pushing $12 in some markets, and In-N-Out looks like a steal. And in terms of pure dollar value, it kind of is. You're getting fresh beef, hand-cut fries, and a real ice cream shake for less than most sit-down restaurants charge for an appetizer. But here's what they don't tell you. In-N-Out keeps prices low partly because their menu is extremely limited. They don't have chicken, they don't have fish, they don't have salads or breakfast or any of the other stuff that adds complexity and cost. Their ingredient list is tiny compared to other chains, which means they can buy in massive bulk, negotiate better prices, and keep operations simple. Fewer menu items also means faster service and less food waste. So yes, you're getting a good deal, but you're also getting very few options. If you don't want a burger, you're basically out of luck unless you go for a grilled cheese, which is just a cheeseburger without the patty. The other thing about the pricing is that it creates lines. Everyone knows In-N-Out is cheap and good, so everyone goes there, especially during lunch and dinner rush. Some locations have drive-through lines that wrap around the building and spill out into the street. You might save $5 compared to another chain, but you're going to spend an extra 20 or 30 minutes waiting, and depending on how you value your time, that might not actually be worth it. In-N-Out is aware of this problem, and they've tried to address it by having employees with tablets take orders from cars waiting in line so the process moves faster once you get to the window. But there's only so much they can do when demand is this high. The smart play is to avoid peak hours if you can, or use the inside counter, which is usually faster than the drive-through. And if you're really trying to maximize value, order off the secret menu strategically. A 3x3 gives you more beef and cheese than a double-double for just a couple dollars more, which is a better protein to dollar ratio if you're hungry. Or go protein style to save calories without spending more money. Number 2 is something most people never think about, and it's about what happens to In-N-Out once Lindsay Snyder is no longer running it. Right now, In-N-Out is 100% owned by Lindsay, who is the sole heir to the Snyder family fortune. Her grandparents Harry and Esther started the company in 1948, and it's been passed down through the family ever since, surviving multiple tragedies including the deaths of her uncle Rich in a plane crash in 1993, and her father Guy from an overdose in 1999, and her grandmother Esther in 2006. Lindsay took over as president in 2010 when she was just 28 years old, and by all accounts, she's been fiercely protective of the company's values and unwilling to compromise on quality for the sake of faster growth. She's worth over $5 billion thanks to her ownership stake, making her one of the richest people in America. But here's the problem. She's in her early 40s now, and eventually she's either going to retire or pass away. And then what? In-N-Out doesn't franchise, there are no shareholders, and there's no public stock. It's entirely controlled by one person. If Lindsay decides to sell the company, some private equity firm or major corporation could buy it and completely change everything, adding more menu items, cutting quality to boost profits, franchising locations, all the stuff that destroys what makes In-N-Out special. Or if she passes it down to her kids, there's no guarantee they'll have the same commitment to keeping things the way they are. Every generation of the Snyder family has had to prove they can maintain the legacy, and so far they have, but that's not a given. The other possibility is that Lindsay could set up some kind of trust or foundation that ensures In-N-Out stays private and independent even after she's gone, similar to what Newman's Own did, but there's been no public indication that's the plan. For fans of In-N-Out, this uncertainty is terrifying because the only thing standing between the current In-N-Out and a potentially ruined corporate version is one person's decisions. And unlike publicly traded companies where you at least have financial disclosures and shareholder meetings, In-N-Out is completely opaque. They don't have to tell anyone what their plans are, and they won't. So the next time you bite into that double-double, just remember, This might not last forever, and there's basically nothing anyone can do about it except hope that Lindsay and whatever comes after her care as much about the legacy as the founders did. And finally, number 1, the thing you absolutely need to know before you eat at In-N-Out again. The freshness that In In-N-Out special is also what makes it less safe for certain people. Because In-N-Out uses fresh vegetables that are delivered daily and cut in store, and because they don't use preservatives or keep ingredients sitting under heat lamps, the risk of foodborne illness is actually higher than at chains that use more processed, preserved ingredients. Now, that's not to say In-N-Out is unsafe. Their health inspection records are generally solid, but fresh food requires more careful handling. Lettuce, tomatoes, and onions are common vectors for E. coli, salmonella, and listeria, especially when they're coming straight from farms to restaurants without the kind of processing that kills bacteria. And In-N-Out's focus on freshness means there's a shorter window between when something arrives and when it gets used, which is great for taste, but requires perfect execution on food safety protocols. If someone doesn't wash their hands properly, or if a tomato doesn't get washed thoroughly, or if something sits out at the wrong temperature for too long, you could end up sick. This is especially important for anyone who's pregnant, has a compromised immune system, or is elderly, because those groups are more vulnerable to foodborne pathogens. The CDC estimates that 48 million people get sick from foodborne illnesses every year in the US, and fresh produce is one of the top causes. That said, In-N-Out has never had a major widespread outbreak that made national news like Chipotle did with their E. coli problems, which is a good sign that their systems are working. But it's something to be aware of, especially if you're in a vulnerable category. You can reduce your risk by asking for your vegetables grilled or cooked, or by skipping them entirely and just getting meat and cheese. The other safety concern is cross-contamination with allergens. In-N-Out fries are cooked in dedicated fryers, so they're gluten-free, but everything else in the kitchen has potential for cross-contact because the space is small and everything is made to order in close proximity. If you have celiac disease or a severe allergy, protein style without a bun is your safest bet. But you should always let them know about allergies so they can take extra precautions. The spread contains soy, cheese, and shakes contain dairy, and buns contain wheat and gluten. So if any of those are issues for you, you need to communicate that clearly. In-N-Out publishes all their allergen info online, and they're generally good about accommodating requests. But at the end of the day, this is still fast food made in a high-volume environment, and mistakes can happen. So there you have it. 10 things about In-N-Out that might change how you order or whether you order at all. Now you know what's really in that burger, what those palm trees actually mean, how to order off the secret menu the right way, why expansion is so slow, what happened with those animal welfare controversies, why the employees seem happier, why people fight about the fries, whether it's actually a good deal, what happens when Lindsay Snyder is gone, and what food safety risks you need to consider. Make your choices accordingly.